And we're live. Welcome back to On the King's Dime. It's the Tuesday. I don't even know what day it is.
It's
The
Tuesday. I think the pin's went.
28th of something. It's after Christmas. We're here to break down 4 games that we've just had in a largely COVID affected NBL that's happening at the moment. There's games being postponed left and right. We'll talk a little bit about that to start with. And then we'll talk about all those games. We had a chance to kind of brush off that Melbourne, what would you call it? It was almost like a nuclear
A draw.
explosion, and then it was just like, and then we'll play against the Phoenix, where they clearly we have them in our pocket, and
Yeah.
then kind
It's,
of bounce back a little bit. So it was 4 games where we kind of thought those games wouldn't go down as the way they did, but we're happy to I think we're happy in the end to get 2-2, but 2-2 still, would
it's
like another
mediocre,
win
man. This
there. Yeah.
team, this team has a lot more in it. There really is some struggles. I think coaching. It's the same struggles we've seen certainly in the Ford and Gaze era, and that's
Mm, mm.
half court offense. It really has. It's been the same. You can chuck a different team in, but it's always been the same.
Yep.
Is that half court offense?
Yep, we'll talk all about that. And as always, you can find us. We're on live on Facebook right now. Put these up on audio platforms on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. They go out on Anchor platform. And if you want to watch on replay, you can watch these on YouTube as well or on Facebook. Give us a like, share, subscribe, rating, review. Helps us get us out there to more Sydney Kings fans to talk Sydney Kings, and anything else really to plug. Tippings, like it's just like the
It's
round that turned into 2 games. It's just like
it's like yes,
okay, cool.
and you got none of them right.
Yeah, it was like oh man, couldn't even get one right. This sucks. So we're gonna talk about that. The obviously affected rounds are coming up thick and fast. We're gonna talk COVID in a second. And then fantasy, I think I've
It's too hard to do fantasy when they postpone games
something
because
happened because after that first game, or after the last game, the last round, I'm like making changes. It's
yeah,
three, like no changes. I can't make changes. The first game tipped off, and I was like, it didn't let me make changes. What the hell?
yeah,
Did something happen? Like, did it break or something, or did they
it's
merge rounds? I was like, damn it.
it's a lockout. It's too hard when they postpone games because you can't really set an effective strategy
Hmm.
to trade in and out to get guys with. It doesn't really work very well,
And
and
then it's like you have 4 players that aren't playing. It's like,
yeah,
damn it. And now with Perth, it was like, and an extra 2 players are playing. It's like, oh man. But
so
yeah, we're going to talk about that sort of towards the end. Let's talk about those games that are being postponed thick and fast. I think Adelaide's got an outbreak. The Hawks have one. I think Brisbane had a bit of a scare about a week ago, and that kind of impacted a couple of those teams in there. But yeah, man, like, what's your thoughts on what's happening at the moment?
this is going to happen for the next 3 months, and it's just I suppose it's where you are in Australia. It's going to affect you most. Look, this is going to happen, man. This not getting political or anything like that. Is that the vaccines aren't really stopping transmission, so we're going to really have guys out for a long time, and they're probably going to be out for 7 to 10 days. I think it's 7 or 10 days depending where you live.
Mm.
Home quarantine, but. Yeah, we're going to see disruptions all the way through the season. I think we're going to see a flood of games in the back end of the season once it's kind of ripped through every team. These guys are out and they're going to be flying and be out and about the most. Didn't a few of the Melbourne guys get it last year? Didn't Golding get it last year?
Yeah, I think the end of the season. I think the end of last season there was an outbreak from Melbourne going into this season, but I'm pretty sure Sydney had a scare as well at the start of in the preseason. I'm pretty sure, or
Hmm.
like in the off season. It's hard to say preseason because preseason lasts like 5 months for the
Yeah,
NBL,
yeah.
so it's a huge range. But there's a few things, right? It's not about like political. It's more about how a corporation functions and kind of has a duty of care to people watching the games. Because it'd be so easy right now. Like how many, like 2 years nearly we've run this for a while. It'd be so easy to just go no fans, just play the games, then have a duty of care to the players as well. I'm still thinking like, how are these players getting COVID? Like how we like, I guess it's super contagious, and there's a lot of people in the periphery of organization in terms of like staff, coaches, etc., etc.
Or you
But
get
I'm
on a
still
plane.
like, man, yeah, getting on a plane too. That's a
That's
tough
the
one
thing. Get
for
on a plane.
Australia.
You have dinner out when you're out and at a restaurant.
Even
You
that
know,
part, like, I'm like, I would be not going out, and I'm like, I don't want this thing. Like, even now,
well,
for me, just being me, I'm like, I don't want this, man. I don't want it. Like, like, I don't want this. Like, so I'm still looking at this kind of like this duty of care from the NBL to either stop, try and put this into a bubble, try and just minimize and mitigate that risk.
yeah.
I'm just, I think as a person who goes, I don't want people getting it. I want to mitigate that risk. It's also like I also want to watch the NBL too. So,
Yeah. The
w-
thing is, right, you've look, I think there's now the assumption that it just has to rip. There's no, I mean, everywhere in the world they've tried to stop it. Even China's trying to stop it now. They've just locked down 14 million people. Um,
yeah,
they're
it's
not going to,
one Australia or three
yeah,
quarters of an Australia. Sweet.
that's one town in the north of China.
Mm,
They've just locked down the equivalent of half the Australia in one town in the north of China. It's it's as infectious as measles. Like it just in a naive population. And it seems like even if you've had COVID before, it's you still get it. It's a mild.
mm,
It's like a cold.
mm,
50% of colds in the UK now, Omicron. Like
mm,
it's not the death sentence we think it is. It's probably moving to that endemic. Oh, it's a cold. Like that's it. If you've been vaccinated or if you had it before, oh, it's just like a cold. You get over it. Get on with your life. It's gonna take a month or two, and everyone will have it, and then it'll just keep faffing around every season. The problem is in Australia, we've 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 stopped it from spreading for 2 years.
mm,
That's the thing, right? Is that we have a completely immune naive population, and even though we're vaccinated, we still have a completely immune naive population.
mm.
And so this is just going to go nuts.
Yeah.
And we'll see, I reckon by the end of January, we'll see 30, 40, 50,000 cases a day here. And, low death rate, but, it'll lead to
Yeah.
hospitalizations. But that's,
It's like that, and that's where for me it's like where it crosses over from political to now like a corporate sense of, as a business, the NBL doesn't want to be seen as like, yeah, we put all these people at risk, and like it's all about risk mitigation now for the
mm,
NBL. And we've seen from sports to all sorts of different things in this country that there's a rabbit hole of like duty of care becomes this whole like Pandora's box that you open. People get upset. Like this person's going to get like you're
well,
never going to be able to please anybody.
apparently
So
there's
it's
been a,
like you got to find a way to run the league, right?
well, it's a business, right? So,
Yeah.
I think at worst comes to worst, every team would just come to New South Wales and play here because it's open. There'll be fans.
Mm.
There'll be fans allowed to stay. There's been a COVID alert for every Kings home game
Yeah.
this year. Like you're just not going to not have someone have COVID in a crowd of 10,000 people. It's if you're having a test positivity rate of 7%, like it makes statistical sense. Someone will be there will be affected by COVID, and that's
Mm.
fine. It's just it is what it is. We've all got to get it and get on with our lives and live somewhat normally. Yeah, I currently know.
But I mean, yeah, there's a difference between us saying it like and going, yeah, yeah, no, get on with it, and then a business being like, we bring all these people together, and you're just going to get a whole raft of all different types of opinions. Some people are going to be upset about that. Some people are going to be like, yeah, no worries. Some people are going to be like, oh, I'll probably stay away and make their own decisions. As a business, right? There's three pathways that they can go down, and so they just go, yeah, whatever, or they go, okay, let's try and stop, or would they try and bubble this thing and go, let's just get
I
everyone
reckon
into a
I reckon
bubble
what they've got
and
to do
play it.
is chuck it delayed free to air. I think they've got to chuck it delayed free to air. That's because you're encouraging fans to either buy Foxtel or K or whatever they use,
Mm.
or go to
Please,
the
please
games, right?
don't. But yeah, keep
Yeah,
going.
but or go to the games, right? And then you don't want to put those people at risk, and you want to give them a product, so you've got to chuck it delayed free to air, even if it's
Mm.
like a few days late. Chuck it delayed free to air. That's it. Foxtel still gets their people that want to watch it live, and that's fine. And at least the people that don't want to go to the games for safety reasons get to view the product. That's in it. I think Larry Kessler was trying to sell the league as well, at least sell a stake in the league.
Yeah, there was some. I saw something about that. It was like the NBA or something was in on it or something.
It makes sense. It's probably some sort of ownership group or investment firm, but it's a growing product. people from the NBA now like, okay, we can go to the NBL to get back into the NBA because it's, obviously lower profile players. We haven't scored a high profile reject just yet, i.e., like a Demarcus Cousins or Isaiah Thomas. That would be good if we got IT. Jeez. But it's coming there, and I think once we get more teams online over the next 5 to 10 years, and,
Mm.
and the game goes back to glory, we are getting some of the largest crowds for rounds we've seen. I watched the Tasmanian game the other night. Looks like they got a little decent little home crowd, which was good to watch.
Mm. And the
Um,
quality of the product too has gotten better.
yeah, yeah,
Like I feel like the standard of basketball has gotten better, and that's had a huge impact on the availability of imports, all sorts of other things that are happening, like with sponsorships and brand deals growing the league.
mm,
If the NBA stepped in and said, right, financial pressure is off, you kind of have not necessarily an open checkbook, but enough of a clean slate to run a league in a sense where you build the actual product on the court.
mm,
I think, man, from here, post COVID, is where I think the NBL probably needs to start to move to, because I think the levels come up enough where you can go, right, this is a pretty good league. If you start bringing it down with these other factors, I think that's where, you know, it might start to stumble again and you kind of just get clawed back down. I think financially there's a few screwy things going on, like, how Perth just had that buyout and there was like one of the ex-Melbourne people bought them out. And have they or haven't they, like, sold their stake, etc. There's some things where you're just like, oh, come on, like,
mm.
we can't. You got to have at least some independence and transparency around the entire league. You can't have like these little things polluting what's happening. And if the NBA just came in, I think it'd be great, just clean slate. Just go right
Yeah.
financially, all the pressure's off all these teams. Let's start getting some better players. There's be a nice kind of buffer to Europe and where they send players to, because
Mm.
Europe's obviously a better attraction. I think in general, the style of basketball, the pedigree, but I think Australia's coming up. So it'd be very interesting over the next few years, like what happens if something like that does happen. But yeah,
Yeah.
duty of care, man. I think I still think they've got to go to a bubble. Like,
Mm.
just while things are breaking out, if they want these rounds to happen.
I think that the thing is though is that we're so early in the season. There's a lot of time, and there's also maybe they'll play some games behind closed doors, but
Yeah, why not? I don't see
it's
why
it
not.
I don't think that affects the test positivity rate. It just affects the fans not being able to go and view the game.
Mm,
Maybe they don't have courtside seats. Maybe people sit up the stands, but I can tell you now the players aren't catching COVID from people in the stands.
true.
They're catching COVID from family members, from people working with the teams, from going
Mm,
out. Like you just kind of diminishing the fan return without really any science behind it. So um, it is what it is. Maybe when we get to around 10 or 15, maybe they add another week to catch up games. Who
mm,
knows?
mm.
I think it's flexible enough to do that. And during this time where it's going gangbusters, just the games we can get in, the games is the games we can get in.
Yeah, so we've had a 2 game round, the last round. Unfortunately, we've had to play Melbourne twice in the last couple of weeks. That's kind of a bad time for them to just spring back up and hit us bam bam. And then this week it's going to be a 2 game round as well. So yeah, there's a I think there's a line in the sand here where some decisions kind of need to be made to be all eyes on what the league does, whether they go bubble, whether they go no fans, whether they try and protect the players and say, look, let's clamp down and try and keep it out of
Or
these
they all just
squads,
go,
but
everyone go and lick each other.
or just whatever. Like
We'll take a week off, guys. Go and get
like
COVID.
when it was in the height of it last year, and we went and it was just like, and nobody's wearing masks. We're just like, oh, okay, sure thing. But yeah, it's I think like a couple of rounds of 2 rounds. If they don't change something and it goes into the next rounds, 2 rounds, I think there's some sort of decision is going to have to be made. But to move on to the Kings, I think that first game, oof, that was just 20. What was it? 24, 5 points in the first quarter. It was a
It
34
was
to 5 first quarter.
it was just it was stupid basketball. It was dumb basketball. It was just hoiking bricks. It was Brick City, and it's kind of a bit of a theme, I think, which with Buford is that it is that 5 out, and he has changed that a little bit. He's got more kind of set the down screen pick, trying to get guys in the pick and roll. These games, there was just 5 out, no offense, and it was just, all right, we'll just we'll hoik it up, and shots weren't falling, and Melbourne got hot, and the game was over first quarter. And I watched the rest of it, and I saw them fight, but I also just saw a lot of dumb basketball. I saw a lot of like, okay, no, we're not going to go to this and try and pick this up. We're just going to keep hoiking up shots
Mm.
and just do the same thing over and over again.
It's such a fine line between this isn't working. Do we just keep doing it? And like just trying anyway. Like, you know what I mean? You're out
Mm.
there, you've got the ball, you're down 30, just take some shots. Like whatever, just take some shots. Do you just go, all right, like you're up 30, like we'll just go home. That's fine. You win by 60, whatever, we'll go home. Like, what is the answer to that? And I think you're right. Like there was the tiniest little bit of fight in there, but I didn't see enough where instead of going to, we're going to knock some heads together. There was a little bit of a scuffle, I think, in that game, wasn't there? At
Yeah,
the end, Glover.
yeah,
Was that
Glover.
that game or was that Hawks? I think that
Which
was the Hawks that I'm thinking of. But
oh, so
I don't know. There might have been a little bit of I've just
we
kind of
we were
blanked it
we
out
were
of my memory.
5 of 36 shots.
Yeah, at one point.
15 of 71 from the field.
I mean, it's
Like,
so easy to laugh at it now, but at the time, I was just like, I can't believe this is happening, man. But also, like, you make a good point where the way Chase Buford's trying to make this team play super fast, take a lot of shots, run and gun. It was also just a run headfirst into a right hook and now change. Like, here's a really great example of why this style doesn't work against one of the best teams in the league, the reigning premiers champions or whatever. Like have like a massive gut punch and change the way you look at it, right? It
yeah,
was also an important moment to just go, this doesn't work, man. Like 5 out, running really fast. Okay, like we fixed the rebounding. We've got a little bit more sort of pace to our game, which is great, pushing the ball, but we don't have the shot makers and the shot creators
no.
and guys that can score the ball. We don't have like, oh, there's 7 guys on our roster who are just like gunners that can score. We've got kind of this group of like, don't want it in that guy's hand. Don't want it in that guy's hand. Can we get it to this guy who can score? No, he's not in the right spot. And then a lot of like, oh, well, who can score? Who? I don't know. You. Nah, you. Nah, you. Nah, you. And then it's like, brick. It's like, oh, this has the potential to go bad. Like I think you said very early in the piece, there's going to be a lot of pick and roll, a lot of high action, and there hasn't really been that much. I don't think.
It was a lot in the preseason, and
Mm,
in the last, there's been a lot of high pick and roll turnovers. I tell you that, just terrible passes that can be easily picked off. It's like, oh, they go to the pick and roll. Here's the hand in the lane. Thank you. Run the ball.
mm,
It's not intelligent basketball. It's weird to watch because Will Weaver was a deep thinker, and you could see where these plays were going. And I just think Buford is like, you actually haven't watched a lot of FIBA. Have you? Before you came into this job, you watched about 3 minutes of FIBA, and it was probably the USA team scoring 200 on, Nigeria in the early noughties. It's just,
yeah.
it's you haven't watched the nuances of this game. It's not the same as NBA rules. It's not the same. You don't have the space. Mid range. If you can get a guy in the mid range, he's worth so much more in weight than in the NBA because scoring is a lot more difficult in any spaces. He's worth 2 times his weight in gold in FIBA, and you can't take 36 fucking 3 shots a game, man. It just
Mm,
if you're having a really good night and it's rhythmic, but if stop after the first 10 and go to your guys that are in the low post, get to your pick and rolls, clear out the left side, let Xavier cook, do some cutting. Like there's been very little cutting, and I think that that game was just a write off. It's just one of those games you're like, well, yeah, this is a learning lesson. Move on to the next one. We've got tons of games this season. I still think they're trying to work this shit out, and we did that against the Phoenix, which we always had the wood over for some
yeah, we've
unex.
got them in our pocket for some reason. I
It's
don't know
just weird.
why. And I felt so confident going into that game. I was like, yeah, ah, we're gonna beat this Phoenix team. Just quickly on that Melbourne United team because it'll come up a bit later. Man, that Caleb Agata pickup.
Oh,
That's a
Matt.
good pickup, man. Like he is everything that Scotty Hobson was trying to be last year. And I mean, he's a little bit smaller, a little bit like more of a point guard, less of a just a scorer. But he is like, if we were able to pick him up or a player of that kind of caliber, it would have changed our entire team. Obviously, it's tough to say Jalen Adams is out. He was out for this game, I'm pretty sure.
He's out for all. He's out for the. I've seen a lot of posts on the thing about, oh, these imports came for the thing. I was just like, well, no, Jarrell Martin didn't.
Mm.
He's a solid pickup, and he's a solid pickup any team.
He's
Jalen Adams,
just a great FIBA player, like the
yeah,
perfect FIBA player.
yeah, that's except defensively.
Yeah, it's kind of
If you,
FIBA is defensively where it's just like you can't play defense. No, but I can score a bit. It's like,
yeah, but
yeah,
it's
okay,
also
you're all right in FIBA.
you need a proper five to kind of slot in there and take and we don't have a proper five,
Mm.
and we won't have a proper five for a long time now.
Yeah.
With Mater being out and Hunter being out for the season. So um, back to our imports. Jalen Adams is the real deal. When he gets back in, he will be a top 5 point guard in this league. Um, but we just haven't seen yet. RJ Hunter, he could just be here for the good times, mate. His knees are tic tacs, and that's one of the reasons why he did not make it in the NBA. He was just injury prone. Reading back through some of the stuff, highly likely to get injured. Skillful when on the court, defensively lacking, not really sizable.
Doing
But
too much, man, too, right? It's like
he's
you're
just
a catch and shoot player.
yeah
Stand there and catch and shoot and don't blow your knees out trying to play
yeah
make, trying to get the ball, shoving dudes out of the way and go, no, I got this. I'm going to try and score a bucket.
yeah
It's also another little wrinkle where you're just like, let's not let him play make. Like I've
yeah.
even seen some interviews where he's just like, no, I can pass the ball. It's just like, just catch and shoot, man. Like get over there. Like you're injured twice now. Just catch and shoot.
Well,
Just
he hasn't been
relax.
injured twice. He's got tendonitis in his knees, which is pretty much season over.
Well,
I think.
two lots of like, you've had to sit out games because of injury, right?
Yeah, he sit out preseason because of his tic tac knees. He sat out games. Yeah, it's not getting better. It's the only thing you can do is rest. And
I
and
think
we
he can still be a devastating player. It's just like you got to kind of like Jarrell Martin in the same way. You've just got to go just this inside those cones, just stay there.
who will be a devastating player is DJ when he's back to 38 minutes a
Yeah,
game.
he looked. Did he? He didn't play in the Hawks game, did he? No, I
No,
think
he
he
played.
suited up, but he didn't play. But in this game,
Yes.
we saw him. They just threw him out there and just have 10 minutes. I think he put up three threes and had one drive. I think he might have got blocked actually. Yeah, on that drive. But now that he's back, he still looks a little like you were injured for a long time, and we've
Yeah.
got to kind of be patient on that. And I'm happy to sit and kind of be patient on that. But it kind of really showed. This game really showed that it's like if we don't have scoring, there really isn't a way to get us going, right?
No.
Against the better teams. I mean, it'll happen against a Phoenix or a Jack Jumpers, but against these good teams, it's like if we don't have a way to get ourselves going and scoring, then there really
game
is a lot
over.
of stagnant offense and just shots that where you're like, I don't want that guy taking that shot. And it's like after 5 of them, you're like, oh my God, can we stop this? Just stop. Moving on to like we bounce back immediately with that Phoenix team at home. I don't know what is going on with that Phoenix team. It's like a good team, and when
It's
we
no
just seem
depth.
to sun
Zero
them
depth.
every time.
Zero depth. Zero depth. That's the issue with the Phoenix team. You look at that bench and it's putrid.
And what the hell has happened to Brokoff, man?
Yeah, that's 2 years out of
Just
basketball and playing he was injured last year. He hasn't played enough.
mm,
When you're playing in Europe and you're playing 60 games a year and you're playing the NBA and you're training and you're playing 50 odd games, 82 games a year, and you're training with the best, that team has a putrid bench. There's no depth in that team, and so if one of them having an off night, it's game over. And that's all they're going to live and die by Mitch Creek and Zhao Qi this year.
and I
Really,
think that kind of affects Brokoff, eh? Like
yeah,
you got a ball dominant kind of forward slasher slash, kind of around the basket playmaker, and then you got a tall center who can finish plays, and he finished a fair few plays. He played quite well.
he's very
Uh,
good.
it kind
Ultimate
of
fever player.
yeah,
Ultimate fever player.
it kind of leaves a lot of collapsing, and then you can't swing the ball right. There's a lot of like just you have to collapse for the sake of collapsing, and that collapsing doesn't create. Oh look, you're getting guys wide open. You're kind of just
Yeah,
collapsing into like a black hole, and somebody has to try and finish around the rim. And I think that's where that team kind of struggles. They got it. Cam Glidden. He's kind of mid tier
No,
NBL.
man. He's deep bench and hasn't been decent for years.
Tarangi Spino came off the bench. Smith Milner, Sapo. Kyle
It's a
Adnam, obviously, the best backup point guard in the league.
That team is just it has no depth. That's the problem.
True.
Is that it's just that's the issue, right? If they're on and they're 5 plays short rotations, it's hard to beat. But if one is not turned up for the evening, it's a bad predicament. And Mitch Creek puts that team on his shoulders, and that's what it is.
And we kind of always play that team, and Mitch Creek plays well, and you still kind of like we just like hold him back, and we're just like, no, you got 20 plus points, but you didn't win the game.
Mm.
And then he seemed to have these games where like you're like, oh, Mitch Creek played well, and it's like, but you lost by 10. So it's a strange situation. Looking through their stats, Glidden no points off the bench, Tarangi 16 minutes, no points of 6. And then Brokov had 22, Chi had 17. It was a good bounce back though. A tough spot to play the Kings, where it's just got your asses handed to you,
Mm.
and they're gonna bounce back. Tough spot. Looking at our box score, Glover 15 points. I think Glover is gonna be, in the mid tier teams, you're gonna play well, have 15 points, play make, shoot the ball well, get space. But
Yeah.
against the top tier teams, I think you're going to see him struggle, like we've already seen it a couple of times against Melbourne, where doesn't have that level to go to as a scorer. But also, it's a bit Hunter, like RJ Hunter-esque, where what's Glover's niche? You don't go, play make, and then set up, run baseline, and then, we set you up on a curl. Like, you don't see that. Like, he play makes, he gets these shots, walks into threes, struggles to create and get the ball back. A couple of corner times where you're like, oh, nice corner 3, like nice work, Glover. And then you're like, how often does he get to the corner to shoot that 3 anyway? Because really, he's got to play make, he's got to do all these other things. And then Sean Bruce has just kind of fallen off a cliff this year, where you kind of like, it's a backup. It's a bit ropey now. It's getting like last year, it was getting a bit like, don't know about this. This year, it's just really a bit ropey.
It's a guy that maybe doesn't work on his game. Season.
I don't know. Like, he's such a strange. Like, he plays like he's way better than he is, right? So the fundamental parts of his game, like they shine and they're good, but like his attitude to me is like he plays like he's one of the best players in the league, and you're kind of a bit like, just do the things you're good at. Like keep doing those things you're good at. Like stop taking these crazy shots. Stop like chesting up to dudes in the lane. Just like just enough of that, man. Like we don't need to do that laughing at people. Like you don't need the spotlight on you.
Is it me at this like you watch the NBA and you watch the NBL and you see guys that are like 31, 32 at the NBA and they're doing this, right? They're still on that upward trend. You see guys that hit like 31 in the NBL and then they just start going like this. It's like, okay, retirement is nigh. I better go to university and do something. Like it doesn't seem to be the same. Maybe it's financials. Maybe they've got to work other jobs. I don't know, right? Their game isn't, their head isn't in the game 24/7 because they're not getting paid $20 million a year or 5 million. But the trajectory, like you see Patty Mills now in the NBA and he's just Kevin Durant. These guys are still at 33 on an upward trajectory. They're not stopping. But Cam Glidden, like 29. Poof.
Yeah.
Jason Kadee. Poof.
Yeah.
Like all these guys that have hit their 30s and they just fall off a cliff. And it's just like, are you not training in the off season? Like, is it the competition? Is it like what is it about the age of around 30 in this league that just everyone just turned to the backup player? They're just like, okay, now I hit the bench. I hit the bench in my twilight years. And it's just I don't get it. I don't know if that's an observation you've seen.
No, I that's a good take for me because look, how good are Bruce and Glidden really? I mean, you're comparing that to like a Durant, Patty Mills, some of the better players in the NBA. I feel like some of these players just aren't ever really that good. And we kind of look at them and go, yeah, like great player, Cam Glidden, yeah. Like, but for me, he feels like one of those guys that's just like, you kind of go, yeah, no, he's mad after like watching some highlights for 6 seasons, and then suddenly he disappears out of the league, and you just don't remember who that guy, like Chase Budinger or someone like that, like someone where you just like, oh, I remember that name, and then you just kind of look at their highlights, and some of their highlights are mad, and then it's really a tier below the best players in the league. But also in our league, there's just two teams where just they hoover up all the best players, and you kind of like, and they also both have the best infrastructure too. Whereas in the NBA, like the infrastructure spread around, and
Mm.
it's really like just smeared everywhere. Whereas in the NBL, there's two teams that have the best infrastructure, and that's clearly Melbourne and I was going to say Newcastle, Melbourne and Perth.
Mm.
And they've set it up so there's like a continuation of production line. Where Sydney, like we've seen it over the last 5 years, it's gone like, oh, like the players, and then whoa, actually system. Oh, we're players again, players. So it's kind of been pretty inconsistent for
Yeah.
us, anyway. I think that's where I wanted that longevity with Weaver, man. Would have been great to have like 5-6 years of that, just betting in a system and so this is how
Mm.
you play. Like a lot of like in out, high low, swing if you need to, clean up guys around the rim, and the pedigree to bring NBA guys down would have been great. But I mean, Chase Buford can kind of do that. He's got to change up his system a little bit. This game, Wani had a bit of a breakout. Swaka
I
Look.
really like Wani Swakala.
That
He is,
dunk, that dunk
yeah,
was so good. Was that against the? I think that was against the Jack Jumpers.
Jack Jumpers, yeah,
Yeah, but that was a
down the
nasty poster
stretch.
that so underrated. Like that didn't
He's
get the.
well, he's a product of Perth. There you go.
Mm,
It's just like that dude is like the deep bench at Perth, and he's starting.
yeah.
But shoot, look, he is a perfect role player. Pesky on defense, hits the three, doesn't take a lot of stupid shots, can finish in quick transition really well,
Mm,
and isn't driving into the lane trying to do some stupid shit. Like it's just perfect piece. Now we need some other guys to add to that, in that mentality of just like knows his position, can take that step in three. You really athletic in transition, really good on defense. Reminds me a lot of Sunday Dech.
yep.
I mean, I'm saying that, but just that kind of style of player of
Yeah.
quick and annoying,
Long and fast as
long,
well
fast, and
as
annoying.
smart, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
mean, Desh is probably a better defender, but also like we're getting to a stage where it's kind of like, Shawnee, you can just step aside, and we'll now rebuild with Wani as the backup.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like like we're
yeah.
Adneming Bruce. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Adnem, you can go somewhere else, and we'll have Bruce and some other guys kind of like bring up the rear.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's going to happen to Sean Bruce in the next couple of years if Wani stays. Then we've got some pretty good sort of guards like Bales. Bales was pretty solid in this game. He's injured now, isn't he? Though.
His ankle
What
looked. I
was the
don't know what he did.
diagnosis of that? I just saw it happen. I didn't have the sound on. I didn't see
I,
like,
I, I haven't heard a diagnosis as yet.
yeah, you get it's rough news from
God,
the
man, like
injury.
what other players do we have? It's going to be Sean Bruce, and who else can play? Angus Glover, I suppose, is a good point.
Gloves. Um, that's it really. DJ is going to have to ramp up his minutes.
Minutes, yeah, yeah.
We're going to have to play Xavier Cooks sort of maybe at a shooting guard / forward, small forward. It's rough. And then McCurmaker, I guess, can kind of step in. We'll talk a
He's
little bit about
he's
him,
been
but
not bad. He's been not bad. It again,
he still looks way too long. But
yeah, but that's his body. Maybe he puts
yeah,
on a bit of
yeah.
weight.
I mean, it's not his fault. It's but just like way too long to just like, okay, you're playing like a guard and a playmaker. It's just kind of a bit too long for me.
Yeah.
Like it's not his fault, but this, yeah, solid win. Cooks 19 points, very solid again. It was a game where we kind of started fast, really blew out the doors, and I think Phoenix kind of would have expected that. And then we were able to defensively keep him to 17 and 15 in the second and third quarters, while not being able to score the ball that well. I think
Mm.
if this team didn't have a rocket lit under it last game, we might have seen us kind of 29-14, 14-14, and lose that game, like we've sort of seen over the
Mm.
last few weeks. But we were able to score the ball, and it was largely due to Cooks kind of sparking that offense late in the game, getting us over the line. He had 19 points, and then Jarrell Martin 12 points. The rest of the bench, chipped in with a little here and there. Good win though. I was thinking, should we do the 3-2-1s? We'll just do them all at the
Actually,
end.
let's do them as we go because I'm going to get confused as anything.
Okay, so
On their
let's
old games.
start with Melbourne United. My machine is
I
chugging for some reason. No, we
I,
don't
I
want tips. We want MVP.
I would say Cooks, Bales, Cooks for 3, Bales for 2. Oh, they're also bad.
They were. I thought McCurr gave us a spark, so I went Cooks for 3, McCurr Maker for 2, and then Bales for 1.
I'll go McCurr for 1. McCurr
I
for
think
1
he
just
deserved at least
yeah,
some mention because he came. He had the attitude too. Like to go back to the game, he had the attitude
yeah,
where you're just like, came out, nose were down. Let's just get something going. Let's just put the ball in the hoop, and I like that coming off the bench. Then
yeah,
this Phoenix game, I had Cooks, Glover, and Jarrell.
yeah. I'm gonna Cooks, Jarrell, Swakala, Bullock.
1A,
1A.
Cooks, Martin, WSLB.
He's my new Vidanovic. I'll be
Yeah, the new
swaking.
Tommy, the guard Tommy.
God told me.
Yeah, I like it. And then going to the Jack Jumpers game, the first we've seen of the Jack Jumpers, and that start was like, I wanted to get on Twitter and be like, this Jack Jumpers team, like, just wow, this is an awful team. Then they kind of just came back, and I was just like, oh, we struggled to score the ball. I think they had like a 12-point lead or something. What was their biggest scoring run was 10. Biggest lead was 13, and
Mm.
it was like, oh, all right. Well, lucky I didn't get on Twitter and be like, "Man, this Jack Jumpers team ain't like," you know what I mean. and then and then
It's
we
it's
just sunned them in the second half. It was just like, actually, no, this team sucks. Like, what are we doing? Let's beat this
yeah.
team. Let's just come out in the second
It's
half and destroy them. Thank you.
the imports they chose.
And what has
Uh,
happened to Magne, man? What the hell
yeah,
happened?
he's not the same dude that went overseas.
Nah, he's something's going on. He's so much bigger now too, and even McVeigh's so much bigger. McVeigh looks like he's put on about 10 kilos as well.
Yeah. Look, Steindel's probably the heart and soul of that team.
Ah,
He's the most
dude.
dangerous.
Shooting 29% this year, comes out 3 of 6, and you're just like, get out of here, man.
But yeah, this team is it's a first year small market team. What more do you want, mate? It's a pathway team for some local dudes and
Mm.
some big. Yeah, I don't imagine they're going to be bringing too many uh, a list
I think McGetty and
NBG league.
Adams probably should be doing a little bit better than they have been for their
Yeah,
pedigree and who
Adams
they
has
are.
been Adams has not performed anywhere near what he was brought into. But again,
And
that's why he's in Tasmania.
yeah, it's been a strange one, because that team, like, you look at it, and at the peak of where you think they should be, Josh Adams, McGetty's not bad, McVeigh's, low tier. Magne, you think, man, like a Magne, you probably should be doing better than that. Sam McDaniel, yeah. And then, yeah, that bench, Krislovich, Besto, Steindl, Weeks. Weeksy just, poor old Weeksy, just, rough, very rough. McIntosh actually played quite well. Pretty solid, came out and dominated us physically. But yeah, in that second half, we just sunned them. We were just like, what are we doing, boys? Let's just put up 30 in this fourth quarter. We held them to 8 points. I think we held them down for a while. I'm sure they had no 2 points or 4 points for a while there. It was like 10,
6
15 to
minutes.
4. And Jarrell again, like back to just Jarrell Martin, give him the ball, man. Just give him the ball. Let him do his work. 24 points, 10 of 21. I'm okay with him taking 21 shots.
Yeah, that's the guy that takes 21 shots on our team.
And 11 rebounds. Just a great performance again. Looking through Bales, 12 points. I don't remember him having like a game where you're like, oh, 12 points, what a solid game. But it's a good 12 points for him, definitely. Cooks with 12, and then Sean Bruce bouncing back with 11. Still 4 of 11, man. Too many shots. 1
Too
of
many
5 from
shots.
3. Solid win. DJ with 8 points. Let's talk about DJ because he should be back in the next 6 weeks. You reckon it'll take him
Playing more again. He'd be on minutes restrictions, and
until he's like at a level where you can kind of go, all right, we can assess where this guy's at physically coming back from that injury.
yeah,
And already I'm like, just a few catch and shoots, man. Just come out, dial up some, curls and dial up some, step across that high screen and shoot it. And I'm like, if he's knocking him down, man, it's a good
It is.
sign.
It's a good sign.
Mature maker. No, far out. Just so many misdiagnoses.
That would be a McCurr.
I believe it is. It's not
McCurr.
popping up for some reason on this thing. Oh, here we go. I had to scroll all the way down.
It was McCurr.
Yeah.
McCurr.
So
McCurr
McCurr make
didn't play that
11
game.
minutes. He's so long, man. He's just so long. And it
6'11".
doesn't look right. Like, not in that sense. Like, it's just like he looks long. And you're like, you're not really a guard. And like,
No.
there's some like, I'm too long to do these guard things issues. But at the same time, I'm like, whatever, man. Give that guy minutes. Sweet. Let's get him out there. No RJ for this game. Tommy V playing 17 minutes. He would have been pretty happy with that. An 83-71 win. Pretty solid stuff. And then, this Melbourne game. Ugh.
But do you think there should be as much beat up on the refs on this game? I particularly don't. I think we lost it based on pure lack of functional offense.
The refs are always bad. They're always bad. And
Yeah.
how many times, man, have we said on this podcast, it's just like, oh, Wade cooking, sweet. Like watching in our own building, just being like, how is everyone else getting these touch fouls for nothing? And we can't get anything in our own building. And then we watch other games where you're just like, wow, that was some crazy home cooking for that team. Like, and we're in our
Yeah.
building going, when have we ever had that? Where it's just like, wow, they had like heaps of free throws. This is crazy. But that Melbourne team, though, like, it's pretty like teetering on the edge of
Jack
like,
White back is a big
yeah.
plus.
And then it had these like just boost performances from White. He only had 5 points, but it's still the energy. And then Agata just being able to score, like, because JLA didn't play that well for Melbourne, but
No.
just Agata getting him out of trouble with these like really just rough jumpers where you're like, and they're tough to defend too, because you're not expecting a guy to like, dance into the lane and then hit a fade away from their elbow. You're not looking for that. You're not looking to defend that. And they're the kind of cracks that this Sydney team have, where if a guy can just get in and score, we don't have the power to defend that. We're kind of a little bit ropey all around. Like we can defend you in a set, half court situation, but when guys can score, they seem to score quite well against us. It was the same against the Hawks. And he had 24 points and then even Barlow hitting a 3 as well. Get out of here, Barlow. I think Melbourne's just kind of back, and they have too many weapons. Once Goulding's back, you're kind of like, right, that just spaces the entire floor, lets Agata free, and then you're like, oh, okay. Even like Brad Newley only had 5 minutes. He barely even played, and it's like, damn it. And we're going to struggle to score 80 points because there's just way too many guys. We're just like such an unreliable scorer, and I don't even know how to get you a bucket.
That is, as well as that Melbourne are a very good defensive team. Delhi's good. They're good collapsing defense, and we don't have any effective mid-range. So really, you can just collapse the drive and defend the perimeter with this team, and there's your Bob's your uncle. But when you got to keep someone in the mid-range honest, like Agata, it's very hard. It opens up lanes, and it opens up space, and we're really missing Adams in that respect. That's Jalen Adams, is that mid-range guy. So.
I'd like to see DJ do a little of that too, because he was
He
doing a
will.
little bit of that last year.
Yeah, he will. He's going to be in minutes restrictions for a while, but we're going to be down to bare bones for the next 4 weeks, really. But if the season's long,
from the start of the season to just being like,
it was last season
deep
as well. It was just like it was bare bones, no Cooks last season. It was like, oh, waiting for Cooks, and it seems like every season we start on a bad note, and if we can pull out a 50% win ratio and keep our distance to the top 4, that's all that really matters, man. It's just getting into that postseason. So early days, lots of rounds to go. What are we on the table at the moment? 7th?
Yeah, I'll bring it up. My machine is struggling. Ladder. In
7, yeah, 7.
This
Played
Melbourne
6.
team, but
3 and 3. Okay,
yeah, we played the most games, or like equal most games. The Jack Jumpers and the Breakers, just poor old Breakers, man. Like, they've been playing all right, but just can't get wins. and you're like, damn it, and you just know we're gonna play the Breakers and they're gonna beat us, and it's like, oh, can you believe it? Oh, it's gonna be like, gotta be kidding me. But yeah, we don't even know what's gonna be happening over the next couple of weeks. Games are just kind of going thick and fast, so we won't be able to do much of a preview. But yeah, we're
Yeah. So
currently sitting seventh.
It's hilarious. Next round is 2 games, another 2-game round,
Yeah,
and then we don't hit the court again until Saturday, 8th of Jan against the Jack Jumpers.
I'm okay with that.
It's
I'd
okay.
like to
It's
play the Jack Jumpers again, get a win,
that's our next game is the Jack Jumpers on January 8th.
and then the Breakers at Kudos. Where the Breakers seem to have played quite well against us at Kudos for the last couple of years. We've been to those games, and then duly leaving that game, just being like, "Why did we choose the Breakers game to go to watch? Like the worst game." But yeah, 2-2. Let's talk about that because I think 2-2 is okay, but I would have liked to have snatched one of those wins against Melbourne. Like surely after that capitulation, bouncing
Should have
back,
won that. We should have won that Saturday night game. We should have won
Mm.
the Boxing Day match. It's I think Buford's got a lot of soul searching to do over the next week to get this team to a point where the guys that they have on the court can actually put together a performance. I still think the rotations are too short. Sean Bruce did way too much in that game. It's not time for ever Sean Bruce to take over a game. It's not ever. It's never Bruce time. It's never Bruce time.
Sometimes it's
So
like, Sean, what are you doing? There was one where he just launched one where you're like, what are you doing?
well, there was a stretch there where he went 1 from 5, and it was on like eight trips down the court. Bruce was 1 from 5, and I thought, well, we've lost this game. That's why I sent you the text. It's like Bruce has single-handedly lost. It was 1 from 5. It was horrible, and they weren't smart plays. Like, no, you can't pull up at the elbow beyond the arc. You can't pull up here. Don't drive that. Don't do this. Get some guys involved. And it was just like, I never want to see Bruce time again. Please, you are a facilitator.
Like he'll drive the ball and then, miss a layup and then like body a guy up and then laugh in his face. And you just be like, what is this?
Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah, hopefully he can bounce back for the rest of this. He's a likable dude. And I think when he's on, he's a likable character.
Yeah.
And somebody that you want in this team. To go back to that Jack Jumpers game, who did you have for 3-2-1?
Oh, Martin.
Martin
Cooks.
Bales.
Actually, sorry, Martin. No, Martin Cooks. Yeah, Swakala Bullet.
Martin Cooks. Wani. I had Martin Bales Cooks. And then for that United game, that loss, Martin. It's just back to being Martin. 1 for Martin, 2 for Martin.
Martin Cooks.
I had Martin Cooks. And then Wani.
Yeah, Wani. Wani Swakala. Bruce, what was Bruce that night? 3 of 13. Why is he taking 13 shots?
I know, it's like too many shots. It's Rubioed, man. You got Rubioed.
Yeah.
It's too many shots. All right, let's talk tips. And let's get towards ending this.
Are we doing round 5 and 6 and 5 and 6 because we've only got 2 games in the next round?
Let's just do the 2. Are we coming back at some point?
Nah, we'll come back after the Jack Jumpers, I think, because that's the following round. So
that's a lot of games. Then
is it? Is it
for me? I'm used to like actually taking my time and looking at these. I haven't looked at any of them.
Let's do the last 2, and then
let's just do.
We'll post our tips this round of 2 games. How about that?
Yeah, all right, sounds good.
That sounds good. All right.
So, Taipans against the Wildcats in
Cairns. I'm gonna go the Types.
Oh no, I don't have this set up. I had it set up for how it used to be, and these games are like different games. Damn it! Just gonna have to quickly move this. Hold on. You're killing me, NBL. I was fully like, yes, this is gonna be the season where it's just like I don't have to take organizing this too seriously. You just set it up. Got a nice spreadsheet going, and it's like, nah.
David has other plans.
So they were playing the Breakers. Now they're playing Perth at Cairns. What do you got?
I've got Cairns.
Cairns against Perth.
Oh, I've got Cairns.
Ugh, that's a
Come on,
stones in
Wardy.
that pick. I'm going Perth. And Toddy Blanchfield has 30 against Cairns, and they win by 20. And then Jack Jumper's at home to United.
Okay, United.
Yeah, United for me too. So that's tips. R5 for that.
Well done.
R5, R5. I have to rejig my sheet and send out the old comms to everyone and be like, yeah, two games this round, everyone. All right, so yeah, I think that does it for another one. 4 games. I think where we're at, it's rough, man. It's rough. Injuries
Early.
now are going to hit. They're going to bite. This is a tough period over the next 3 or 4 weeks, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks to talk about it. So as always, like and subscribe. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts. We are on the Anchor platform, which goes out to Google Podcasts and Spotify. You can listen to us live on Facebook or in replay on Facebook or YouTube. Give us a like, subscribe, rating, and review if you want to get us to more Kings fans out there. And as always, we will see you guys next time
On the King's Dime.